Hey YouTubers, Christopher Wanamaker here doing a new category of video. It's a little bit of a combination of a couple of different things. It has to do with the mid-January 2024 winter blizzard that we're having here in the Pacific Northwest, but a good portion of the United States, the northern portion of the United States, has all been massively affected. I think it's even reached part of the South. So, deep freezes, blizzards, freezing rain, ice storm, all that kind of stuff. So it's a little bit about, thinking ahead about basic things to have on hand for home and vehicles that one should consider having on hand that can do a variety of different things. It's not only be prepared for that, cold, but, what if you're stuck at home and you run out, you can't go to the grocery store at all, or you have to walk there instead of driving your car because the roads are really bad. It's about what to have on hand for emergency supplies as backup emergency ration, food, and water. If you think that your pipes might freeze, you should already have on hand some a good amount of backup emergency water, emergency like dehydrated food, candles, glow sticks. What if power goes out? That's happened for a lot of people during this winter storm. Do you have good winter clothes with a good coat and gloves and socks and all that? Do you have good blankets like my bed has here? I got a heavy duty, thick, warm blanket, and then on top of that, a Korean mink blanket, which on average, depending on size and everything and how intricate is the design on it, you get a $50 to $150 for one of these like Korean mink blankets. And so, things like that. So, and what got me, thinking about this whole subject that I'm about to cover, and it's not just about home preparedness for some basics, emergency supplies, and all that. It also has to do with thinking about if times are getting financially tough, and so you have very, very little money, and you're pretty much, you're almost completely broke, have no more money, but yet there's rent and there's utilities to be paid. Thinking about prioritizing those. What is out of all of those, like rent and utilities, like water and electric and phone bill and all that kind of stuff? What is top priority? And then, so thinking along that lines, we'll talk a little bit about that. And then if, there's a very high risk of possibly in the very near future becoming homeless, what different types of research things and thought processes and priorities should you be thinking of if you do actually become homeless? So, scouting out where you're going to go, looking at going to those areas, talking to some of the homeless, maybe bringing them some fast food or soup cans or whatever, MREs or, something, bringing them like a box of MREs or whatever. Try to build a rapport, hear their stories, listen to their do's and don'ts of what to watch out for, the top 10 most important things or 20 most important things when you become homeless. What's the first day going to be like, the first week, the first month? Talking to your local homeless, making a rapport. Hey, if I become homeless, could I bring over a camping tent and stuff and set up over here? Are you guys okay with that? Doing your homework research. Where are the shelters? Where are the food pantries in your area? Are there tiny house villages? Get like a little memo book or address book or something. Start writing down important agencies and names. Do you have a little power station, little thing with like a wind lily, water lily, water or wind turbine that could recharge the thing? Solar, little solar panel to recharge the thing. Do you have, a Coleman cooking stove or something along that lines? Firebox folding camp stove, some sort of cooking system that also, produces heat. Do you have the probably, looking at a 0 to 20 degree sleeping bag? Do you have a cot, of some kind? Do you have a tent of some kind, or is it a tarp? Or do you have like a 24-hour basic lightweight or bigger survival bug out bag? Have you built one? Have you, thought about, different gear, hygiene and first aid and everything to have with it, summer, winter combo clothing, and what kind of clothing, and how many pairs would you want to have? Probably a couple at least. Do you have tennis shoes for the spring and summer, and good winter boots, and good thick wool socks, and good gloves, and a fleece cap, and a gator neck, or a baklava or something, full face covering? How prepared are you, not only for winter storms and or natural disasters and power going out, and or water getting shut off, or about to become homeless. Well, so thinking about all these different intricate things to do list, to think more ahead. And the more you prepare, the better off you will be. The less worried, the less stressed out, the less anxiety, the less fear. I did a college, a couple different, like four of them, research papers in college specifically for micro and macro economics classes in college, a speech class, and an English class on the subject of emergency preparedness management. Working with FEMA and Red Cross. 2 papers were with FEMA, 2 papers were with the Red Cross. I also worked with FEMA and Red Cross in my 3rd deployment with the Army. I was a logistical supply sergeant for the United States Army for 9 of 13 years and 3 deployments. My 3rd deployment was a 3-month humanitarian mission to Liberia, Africa, helping out with the Ebola outbreak. And I worked with FEMA and Red Cross representatives in Liberia, Africa. And so I learned a lot about emergency preparedness from that. TV shows, movies, survival shows, dual survival, Alone. I'm watching like all 9 seasons of Alone right now. YouTube was The Island with Bear Grylls. And there's many other ones, Ultimate Alaska Survival or something like that, Out in the Wild, the Great Alaska Experiment, the Venezuela Experiment. A lot of good TV shows out there, and then different movies like Arctic or other survival movies help teach you a lot of do's and don'ts, how to live out in the wilderness, build shelters, build furniture, create water filtration systems. Like if you have like a, say, 2-liter bottle of something and it's all emptied and cleaned out, and you put like some sort of filter cloth at the bottom, then it's charcoal, grounded up charcoal pieces, and then like a coarse coarse sand or gravel or something, and then if you can, top it off with either grass or shredded up leaves or something on the very top, and then pour your dirty, possibly infected with bacteria water, and then have a catch system of some kind to filter your water. And then after you filter it, boil it for several minutes of it actual boiling, and then let it cool down, and then you have good, better clean water. Very, very small chance of getting sick. So how to build the shelter like teepee style, or with a tarp or whatever, or bendable branches that you tie all together and make like a dome shape, almost like a yurt kind of a thing. How to build a fireplace and find clay, and skin an animal and hunt and create traps, and all different atmospheres, all different climates, all different altitudes. How can you keep bettering your life and everything? Just all these different things. So, quite a bit of different unique things to go over. So, and the reason why I am going to be going over these different things, it just popped up recently. I have a family member, a sibling, who unfortunately has not been doing very well the past 2 to 3 years. He made some really piss poor choices and really damaged his, everything, body, mind, personality. He damaged all his relationships, even with his family. Me and my mother kept him alive for, pretty much all of the end of 2022 and almost all of 2023 for an extra year. Kept him alive and afloat, and then all he does is hit us up, belittle us, say all of his, life problems was my fault, my mom's fault, our ex-stepfather's fault, who's been out of our lives for 20 years, and all this other kind of stuff. So he's not doing so well, and there's a really, really high risk chance right now here very soon, probably within the next month or so, that he could literally become homeless, and he, might take himself out if he does become homeless. We've given him a lot. I've wasted over $13,000 of the past year that I didn't want to spend on him, and yet I was guilt tripped by my mother to help him until she finally went over there and stayed with him for a little while. And it's supposed to be 90 days for the whole summer of 2023. Lasted 58 and had like 4 or 5 MS attacks and almost had a mental breakdown because of the way he is. And they just fought every day. All this kind of stuff. We threw money his way, and it was never good enough and everything. So it's not just his situation, but it's also the fact that because of this winter storm, he hit us up and was telling us, "Oh, I think the utility company shut off my water. My water's not running." Well, I'm like, okay, before you tell that to anybody, what have you done to verify that your utility company shut off your water? He's like, I didn't get any notices from them or anything. Okay, so why are you making idiotic emotional assumptions and hitting people up before you verified? And then even if you knew that your water was about to be shut off, or any utility, what did you do to prepare for it? Did you talk to the utility company? Did you try to get an extension? Did you have a bunch of emergency water in cups and bowls and your bathtub that you cleaned out and all this other kind of stuff? 5-gallon water jugs, go get water barrels from somebody, fill everything up with as much as possible to last you a good long while, before they actually officially shut off water. It extends if you're more prepared with emergency water supply and food supply, and candles and glow sticks and all this, because electricity goes out, and water gets shut off, or pipes freeze or whatever, then you can last longer, which gives you more time to hopefully go get money and then pay your bills. So, thinking ahead about preparedness. And FEMA and Red Cross says, research that I did, their study, they did a 5-year, Red Cross and FEMA did a 5-year joint study on Americans and preparedness, and came out with the results in August of 2015. So it's a little bit old data, like from 9 years ago, but they pretty much put that for every $1 someone spends in preparedness planning, products, or both, you will save yourself somewhere in the realm of $4 to $16 in damages and recovery fees. You will also recover 4 to 5 times faster compared to those who do not prepare. And then on top of that, over 60% of Americans do not prepare for natural disasters in any way, shape, or form, even though over 80% at that point in time, in August of 2015, over 80% of American counties get hit by one or more than one yearly natural disaster. So, and that was before inflation happened. That was before the pandemic. So you take all that information, they probably need to update it. It's probably close to 100% of American counties, 95 to 100% of American counties get affected by one or more than one yearly natural disaster. I'm guessing on that, but because of climate change and everything, global warming. And when they were saying before, for every $1 you spend in preparedness, planning, products, or both, you will save yourself somewhere in the realm of $4 to $16 in damages and recovery fees. That's probably more like at least double. So it's more like for every $1 you spend in preparedness, you're probably saving somewhere in the realm of $8 to $32 for every $1 you spend in preparedness. That's preparedness for your home, bug out bag, vehicle, and everything, emergency supplies and water, and all other things preparing for every season: spring, summer, fall, winter, specifically winter and summer. So there's all these different things that people need to be thinking about, and you don't have to go spend $10,000 all at freaking once or whatever. You get a little bit at a time. You accumulate a little bit at a time. So let's start going over some of the stuff that you can do and you can get on hand. So, okay, electricity goes out. What would you think about for being prepared? Glow sticks. I have about a couple of boxes worth. I got like 8-hour glow sticks. I've got 12-hour glow sticks of different colors. We call it, military people call these chem lights. Glow sticks are super dirt cheap. You can get them in like dollar stores and General Dollar and all that kind of stuff. Of course, candles, have a decent amount of candles on hand. Of course, have, probably a good amount of lighters, half a dozen at least, I would say. The big lighters are pretty cheap, and they got the ones with the extension tube on them now. Flashlights with batteries as well, or even hand cranking flashlights, so the battery will never run out as long as you don't break the flashlight. Then you need to have a good amount of a water supply. And so what I have here is I've got a variety of things, and this is one of them. I've got normal 32 ounce, and this is a 64 ounce glass jugs. The 32 ounce look like wine bottles, and they were cider, different flavored cider bottles from Hillside Orchard Farms in Atlanta, Georgia. Multiple different flavored ciders like blueberry, strawberry, peach, blackberry, normal apple, apple cherry, and some others. There's like several different flavors. Oh, grape, white grape, pink grape. This was blueberry cider originally, and I purchased these. They're really dirt cheap. I think these are like 12, 13 bucks altogether. Shipping from Georgia to the Northwest is quite expensive, so we gotta get a lot of stuff in bulk. And then so I either have multiple flavors of different flavored ciders, and I put them like under my kitchen sink. But then when the bottles are fully used up, I will rinse them out multiple times. I will then fill it with scalding hot water, put a little Dial or Dawn soap or whatever, a little bit of liquid soap, let it sit for like a day, and then rinse it out once again, multiple times with scalding hot water until all the soap's out. Then fill it back with scalding hot water, and then put it on a shelf or underneath one of my sinks or something. So, as emergency water supply goes, both water and then mixed with some whatever I would have in my fridge. My mom's, 2-liter bottles of, a soda, Diet Dr. Thunder most of the time, some grape juice, milk jugs, some of the basic, different ciders that I have. I've got a full box of cans of 7-Up because 7-Up helps deal with nausea. If you have a stomach bug or something, having soda on hand, whether it's room temperature or cold, is good. And so having all these different liquids that aren't alcohol, I have probably at all times somewhere between 80 to 100 gallons, 80 to 90 right about, at all times, 80 to 90 gallons, most of it being emergency water supply. And then and it's ready to go. And it's I probably drain these about once a year, year and a half. I'll empty out the current content, re-rinse it all out, let it dry, put scalding hot water, and then put it back under the sink or my shelves, like designer shelves with my decor. I'll put these behind it, and there's still room for many more. So different milk jugs and stuff like that are good, but eventually after so long the plastic does degrade. And so when it comes to the milk jugs, normal milk jugs or your water milk jugs or whatever, plastic, but so I prefer the glass. I have 80 to 90 gallons at all times, and a good about half of that are actual water barrels I have on my back balcony. I got like some 5-gallon water jug things, and then I also have some 15-gallon water barrels as well. A couple of those fully filled up, ready to go. They're probably ice on the back porch right now, but having a good amount of emergency water supply. You can use old liquor bottles as well. Any kind of glass container over plastic. But if plastic is all you have, preferably the thicker type of plastic, kind of like you would get like Sunny D plastic bottles, or the hard white plastic almond milk plastic containers. Clean them out really well, put soap in them, and then when you're all done, scalding hot water, and place them in specific places for your emergency water supply. So that is one idea option. Another thing, look at getting yourself a water bob from Amazon. Currently about 35 bucks. And what this is a big thing, whether it's a natural disaster about to hit, your pipes could freeze, or also you're about to run out of money and you don't have enough money to pay your water bill and they're about to shut off your water, but you still have your home, you're being kicked out of your home, then something like this is quite important and critical. And this is if you're able to fill up with clean your bathtub, I would say first, and then once it's clean, put this in it and fill it with scalding hot water, let it cool down, and it has right there. And so it's like you fill it up, put it in there, you fill it up, it's all filled, and it has a hand pump thing. So then this is 100 gallons for $35. So I would highly, highly recommend everybody should have something like this on hand and other emergency water supplies. But then you start thinking about other things. Okay, now you have all this water, if room temperature is fine or whatever, but what if you need it or want it or both to be hot? Then what are you going to do? How are you, hopefully you have electricity, and then, is electricity more important than water? That's one of the questions that I'm going to look into. But if you hopefully have electricity, or you have a Coleman like gas, cooking stove or something like that, some way to warm up to create hot liquids. So, even if your power shut off and you're freezing, other than having good, thick, heavy blankets and heavy coats and good gloves and everything. How can you warm up your what water you do have and also prevent it from freezing? So a great idea would be, some kind of stove, gas, kerosene, something to warm it up and cook it. But another great idea would be cast iron teapot with a little stove tea light candle. There's a tea light candle right in there. Kind of stovetop thing that this goes on top. So you fill this, and the tea thing, this is for loose leaf tea, has a filter in it. You can find these on like Facebook Marketplace, cast iron teapots and stuff like that. Some tea stores as well. And then I have 50 or 60 different types of tea. This is a box I had engraved. That's my new generation family crest I designed myself and drew. But then I've got a bunch of different teas and canisters of many 50, 60 different types of loose leaf teas, and German sugar cane as well, which is healthier than normal white sugar. But also I have honey as well, as long as it hasn't crystallized. Every now and then I put it in boiling hot water to make it liquid again. So, but then I have hundreds of these, 100 packs of tea candles, some non-scented and others are scented, and I usually have about 400 to 500 of these at a time. And as long as it's not a bad candle, which is rare, they can last about 2.5 hours. So this is a lighting source. You have a bunch of these. You can warm up your place a little bit if you have multiple going. And then you have these tea candles, which are usually pretty cheap. These are normally anywhere from $5 to $7 for a pack of 100. And then you cast iron tea. Here's your hot water source. Here's after putting on there for an hour and a half to warm a full thing of water up. Your hot tea, your hot cider, your hot chocolate, or even hot water to make coffee if you have a coffee press or something. So if you don't have electricity, a cast iron teapot set is a great emergency backup. Plus, I just love tea and hot chocolate. If I have electricity, I've got a Cocoa Motion that is like a magnetic, thing, heats it up and stirs it with a magnet in the center, and all that kind of stuff, and a lid and all that. So, but most of my tea I make with this. I got both some tea bags like maple, Canadian maple tea, Earl Grey tea, and things like that. But another thing that this can do, especially if you specifically have the tea light candle stove, is it has a dual purpose. You can also cook cans. Of course, take the lid off, but then take the lid off, whether it be chili or mainly soup cans. The bigger, the longer it's going to take. If it's a big can like this, 45 minutes to an hour. If it's a smaller, can, which is like half this size, probably 30 minutes. And you've got scalding hot soup or chili. The chili you'll probably have to stir, well, both, actually maybe soup and chili. Have a knife or something, small spoon, whatever, and stir it. But this is a great, having a cast iron teapot system to make hot water, to cook soup and chili or other canned things that you need cooked up for a hot meal, even if your electricity is off. Cast iron teapot with a tea light candle stove of some kind, of some design, is a lifesaver. It really is. Just remember, if for cans, don't be cooking it on here with the lid on. Otherwise, after so long, it will explode. So don't do that. So that's a great thing to do. And then if you have your cast iron teapot and now you've got hot water for an hour, hour and a half, then what does that go with? That combines with dehydrated food packs. So, whether it's, there's many different brands out there right now. My two favorite would be this one, Peak Refuel, really high quality food. And then also Mountain House dehydrated food as well. So I just, take a bunch of hot water, take a certain amount, pour it in here, stir it all up, shake it all up, get a few minutes to, combine itself and everything, stir and all that, open it up and start eating away. And this is, depending on how hungry you are, this is like, this one, there's different size packs. This is a 2-serving pack. So either you're super hungry or it's enough for 2 people or one of you to eat 2 meals. So, that's why this cast iron teapot idea with tea candles that last 2.5 hours, warm drinks, warm hot water for Mountain House dehydrated, Peak Refuel dehydrated food of some kind, and then for soup cans. So that is a really, really big idea to not only prepare for water being shut off or pipes freezing. Another thing for pipes freezing, if you know a winter storm's coming, go to like Walmart and you get the foam pipe sleeves, and they're super dirt cheap, like 2 or 4 big long ones for like $2. They're super dirt cheap. So go get those and then put them over your pipes, It's that whole mentality of, think ahead, think more about emergency preparedness in every area of your home. What should you be doing to do emergency preparedness within your bathroom, within your kitchen, within your living room, within your bedroom? If electricity goes out, how are you going to stay warm? How are you going to light it? How are you going to cook things? Do you have like a gas generator? Do you have a solar generator? Do you have a propane cooking stove, like a Coleman one? Do you have some sort of tea stove, tea light candle stove? Do you have firebox folding camp stove? Do you have a BioLite camping stove using wood pellets or Duraflame little logs, or firebox folding camp stove? You can use charcoal briquettes. You can use a little can cooking fuel. There's all these different things. So what do you have on hand for emergency preparedness that's like camping gear, but that's for, you gotta leave your home, or you gotta stay in your home, or you're trapped in your home, or whatever. What do you have for preparedness specifically for winter, for summer, and for possibly emergency preparedness? You got a mandatory evacuation of your area. What do you have for your home? What do you have for your vehicle? What is already in your vehicle, and what needs, if a disaster happens and they say you have 15 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour to get the hell out of your area. What are the most important things in your home that you've already made a list of, and maybe even grabbed and pre-packed one time your vehicle? If this happens and we gotta go and we may not come back and our home might be destroyed, what are the most important and critical other items that need to go in your vehicle and fully fill up. So to think ahead, already know how you're going to pack it, pre-pack it before a disaster happens, like a trial run. What are you going to pack? Have a list. Have you pre-packed it? Do you know that everything that you have on your list can fit? If you did it once, maybe take snapshots from all different angles of how the hell did you get it in there, all that kind of stuff. So now another thing is home preparedness is, emergency ration food and water. I've gone over the water thing in detail of the type of things that I have. I've showed you peak refuel. I've got probably 32 cans of different types of chunky Campbell soup. I've got about a dozen cans of different chili. I've got probably right around 20 pounds of rice, several pounds of beans. I've got the big packs of Snoqualmie, I think it is, pancake mixture, powder mixture. I've got multi-meal. I've got multiple things of old-fashioned oats. I've got several boxes of different flavored 12-pack of Cliff Bars. I've got about 24 of these sold from Walmart. Augustin's Farms dehydrated fruits, vegetables, powdered cheese, powdered honey, powdered peanut butter. I got the big things of like creamy or crunchy peanut butter, applesauce. I think I got multiple bags of jerky as well. All these things can last anywhere from several years up to 25 to 30 years. The probably more expensive ones. I've got Augustin, $60 to $110 at Walmart, depending on the specific big 5-gallon bucket type that you get. And this one is like $150, I want to say, like Sportsman Warehouse for a peak refuel of certain ones. The newer types that they come out with for the big buckets are like in the $180, $190 range. And these can last like 25 to 30 years on the shelves as well. And then boxes of MREs as well, meals ready to eat, military food. It is good to have. So there's all these things. I've been slowly purchasing a little at a time, like, one of these or one of these buckets or a couple of cans of soup or a couple cans of chili and a couple boxes of these Cliff Bars of different flavors and of some individual, the newer peak refuel for me to try and stuff. And I get little here, little there to add to my grocery list every now and then. And pretty much I've been doing this since spring of 2022. And I've done a little bit of an inventory roll-up. I got a 3x5 card in there in my food pantry. And pretty much I've added up that not only do I have about at all times $80 to $90 worth of liquids that are not alcohol that can be used. Most of that, probably 80% of it, is emergency water. But then I have for emergency ration food somewhere in the right around $2,100 worth of backup emergency ration food that can last about at least 10 years, and some of them can last 25 to 30 years. I'm running out of room, unless I'm always cleaning and organizing like every quarter of the year, right around quarter to, half of the year. I will start going through a certain area of my home and start cleaning and organizing. I'm looking at survival shows. I'm finding out about new products on Shark Tank or whatever. If I find an item I like and it's interesting, do I do more YouTube research? Is someone done a review of that specific item and brand? What's the positive? What's the negative? What's the price point? Is it worth the money? And all that kind of stuff. And eventually, hopefully, I will get it. Altogether, there are several more items I really want to get for emergency preparedness, specifically for home or to throw in my vehicle if we got to go somewhere and get out of Dodge. And pretty much I figured and estimated to get everything that I want to be fully well-rounded in emergency preparedness, other than not having my land and tiny house off-grid, way off in the distant future, hopefully the next 10 years, is that everything else when it comes to basic emergency preparedness for home, vehicle, or my bug-out bag, I need to spend about another $8,000 and probably right around $350, $500 of that is specifically for the solar generators with solar panels. Everything else, there's small stuff, Ghost Sun, Fusion, which is like a little solar stove thing, but it has a backup battery pack connected to it, so even when it's dark out, it can be used and all that. Water, I have the water lily, and I want the wind lily, and then solar, wind, and hydro systems that can connect and recharge the solar generators, and no matter what type of green energy that's available to me. So there's all that kind of stuff. I'm not fully 100% paired. I'm probably 80-ish, 85%, have nearly everything I really want to cover preparedness of emergency, food, water, cooking. I've got first aid kits. I can I got probably 20 lighters all together in bug out bags and shelves and everything. Multiple boxes of glow sticks. I've got a BioLite LED string up with a light switch and a emergency AM FM radio system with a light on it that I can hook up my Zune to, like an iPod thing, for music and everything. So emergency radio and hand cranking flashlights, glow sticks, candles, batteries, all that kind. I got the pale blue lithium ion batteries and all that kind of stuff, a variety of kind, many of them. So there's all these different things. One thing that I would definitely say more people need to think about and really don't, when it comes to winter storms and ice storms, having massive accumulation of ice on sidewalks and roads and all that, but they don't really want to think about purchasing, is things like this. Rubbery, slip-on, stretchy, put over your shoes. They're kind of like soccer cleats. So, little metal tack things at the bottom in order to put over my shoes of any type, and then you can go walk on the ice and taking smaller steps still, but at the same time you have better traction. And these were like $7-8 on Amazon, where they're in stock. Sometimes I have seen them in like Walmart, Fred Meyer's, and other shoe department of stores. So anywhere from like $7 to maybe 25. Then there's different brands, the different sizes, many different types of these things. But these things is a form of preparedness. It can prepare you from dealing with the ice and not slipping and hurting and injuring yourself, especially the older you get, or the heavier you are, or the more unhealthy you are. You don't want to fall and break your neck taking your pet out on like icy roads, icy sidewalks and everything. Something like this that you purchase and use and put on your feet will definitely, save you from injuring yourself, which also then medical bills and possible medications, and then you're off of work and you're losing hours and all that kind of stuff. So a prevention device like this, that's super cheap, as long as you purchase it and then use it, and you remember that you have them and put them on, it will prevent any kind of negative bad thing from happening to you. Thinking ahead, emergency preparedness pays off, okay? So those are a variety of different things to be thinking about on how can you be more prepared for your home or vehicle or whatever. Something I did just last night, I have a 20 liter or 5.5 gallon Wavion metal gas can fuel can. And I realized that it's mid-January, and right around this time frame, I take that thing of fuel and put it in my car, and it was in storage for about 13 months. I had the storage fuel liquid stuff, stabilizer, fuel storage stabilizer, that depending on the size of the canister, the fuel can, it will depend on how much you put in there with the fuel. So fuel goes bad in like 60, 90 days just in the canister. you put a storage fuel injector in it, and it'll last about 13, 14 months. So this month, right now in mid-January, is 13 months was the last time I filled it up. So my car was down to a quarter tank of gas. So I went ahead and threw the fuel in there, and now as soon as the ice melts on the roads and it's safe to drive, I will go and refill the fuel can, put the fuel stabilizer in it, and then put it back in my storage closet. So that makes it where most of the time, as soon as I have a tank of gas, I refill, and then I'm full. So most of the time I'm at fully full, and then I have an extra close to a half a tank of gas of 5.5 gallons worth in my storage closet on my back balcony, ready to go. And that it can stay in there for 13, 14 months without going bad. I also, been knowing the temperatures and it's messing with my battery, went out in the car, warmed it up for 10 minutes, and warmed up the entire interior and all that, let the ice on the windows thaw. And then I also pulled out this mini battery operated electric chainsaw, and I pulled out my the Zeus from Uncharted Supply Company, which I think is $150 for. They have a larger one, it's called the Athena, I believe. And I pulled that out because it had been out in my car for a long time. And the cold weather, decreases battery usage. So I pulled both of those out. So just in case once the roads are safer and more clear, then I am looking at just in case something happens, a tree falls or whatever, a car dies and won't start. I have a battery pack jumper cable system that I just fully recharge to make sure it's fully recharged. I have a chainsaw a battery operated little chainsaw. So a small tree falls, I can pull that out, whip it out, put the battery on it, and start hacking away easily and clear the road. So I went out and pulled out multiple devices and warmed up my car, warmed up my battery, and it refilled my car. And then I'll refill my backup fuel here in a few days. So, there's all these things, that one can do to think ahead and prepare for any kind of season, specifically the really bad seasons of bad winter weather and bad summer weather. So. And for summer weather, like thick blackout curtains of the right size, from like IKEA or something like that. You're going to spend more. I just bought the really long ones, a pair of them, dark blue solid blackout curtains for my younger brother, for their sliding glass door that leads to their back balcony of their apartment, and that was $60 from IKEA. But you want the high quality products that will do really good for you, and that will also, when they put it up, not only black out their rooms, but it'll keep their home cooler during the summertime if that's a window where the sun shines straight through. So, another topic thing to think about when it comes to preparedness and being more ready. We've gone over a good amount of home preparedness. I need a drink real quick. Okay, so now more of what my one of my siblings is going through and was thinking about, and he hits us up and he makes an automatic emotional assumption instead of verification that his water got shut off, which it did not. It was his pipes froze. And so, it's like, if you even got any indication that you're, hurting for money and that the possibility that a utility company was going to go shut off something, then what did you do to prepare before, that thing got shut off? Do you have a water bob for your bathtub, and did you clean your bathtub and then put that in there and fully fill it so you have 100 gallons right there that's going to last you a while? Do you have some sort of emergency water supply, whether it be water jugs, water barrels? Do you have cider bottles or alcohol bottles, or even milk jugs? If you got to go cheap, last dozen things of 2 gallons of milk or whatever, a gallon of milk. And did you clean those really out and rinse them out and then fill them with scalding hot water before your water went out? What did you do to prepare for that inevitable thing happening? Where there's a will, there's a way. If you knew that, hey, it's coming, then what the hell did you do to prepare for it? Electricity. This is like one of those questions of if you have hardly any money or you have no money and then you put some of your personal belongings up for sale on, like, say, OfferUp or Facebook Marketplace, and you actually sold some stuff. Okay, I didn't have money, now I have a little bit of money. Maybe did you go around your neighborhood, knock on your fellow neighbors' doors, tell them that you have this, you're really, really hurting, and, is there any odd jobs that you're physically capable of doing, that, painting a fence or mowing a lawn or whatever it is, like cleaning out a basement or an area or a garage or whatever. Can you do something to help out your local neighborhood that's not far from home that you can get paid for? Knock on people's doors, network. One thing that my brother has done, which I think was kind of brilliant to hear, I wouldn't even thought of this. He's getting food stamps. So he knocked on a couple neighbors' doors, telling the situation and all that, and he's close to homelessness, and how he decided to, one of the people, like, oh, you have food stamps. Well, why don't you give me like half of your food stamps, and I'll pretty much exchange it for cash. And so, hey, they're going to use, half of his amount worth of food. They definitely probably use more than that. But then, my brother can get cash for his food stamps. So he did, he did a form of bartering, a trade, which is a good idea. So that's something that he did. And so that's a great idea. And maybe even like, hey, if you stockpiled for a good amount of soup or sandwiches or whatever, and you think you can handle it, then maybe can you find out from a person who agreed, hey, for 1 month, can that person take all your food stamps and you get, you exchange all your food stamps for cash, for like 1 month or maybe a couple of months or whatever. Do you still have a good stockpile of food? You got the super duper cheap everything. You're going super cheap and you're not going to starve kind of thing, So, there's a great idea. But then when it comes to, okay, you're out of money, you got some money somehow, you did odd jobs, you did, you sold off things on like Facebook Marketplace, OfferUp, whatever. What else are you doing to better your situation? I'd be like, what's a good one? Looked into going to school and to be able to qualify for grants and scholarships and student loans that can help you last extra 6 months to a year possibly with that kind of money, if your situation allows you to qualify. If you're in a desperate situation, did you start a GoFundMe? Did you, and you don't have to go into super major detail, but did you, say that you're in a desperate situation, you worked and then got laid off and all this other kind of stuff, and you are partially disabled, you're about to be homeless, so on and so forth. And then, people can be quite generous. So, what are you doing? Before becoming homeless, you should do everything in your power. Screw, a freaking ego or feelings. Throw them out the damn window and do what you need to do. Because nobody is going to take care of you more than yourself. No one is going to watch out for you more than yourself. Hopefully other people will help, whether it be friends, family members, or at some point in time they will most likely give up, like my family has, because we've done too much and nothing has really improved or changed with him. So, or we get yelled and screamed at and called names and belittled, and it's all our fault and all that kind of stuff. Toxic negativity and belittling and mental, emotional, and verbal abuse is all we've received. It's like, thank you for helping, but it's not good enough. I need more. I need more. I need more. Give me, give me, give me, give me. We're family. That's why you should help me, is just because we're bloodly related. Blood makes us related. It doesn't actually make us family. So, and it's like, I didn't screw up my life with many, 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 many piss poor choices. This person did. So I, was willing to help out, but I can only do so much. I've got my own life. I've got my own responsibilities. I got my own bills to pay. I'm putting money away for retirement now. I've got priorities, and taking care of a grown man who's older than me is not my top priority, and it's not my responsibility. Helping out a bit, okay, that's very very loving, very caring, very admirable, but you can't do it forever. Eventually, the lazy sack of potatoes who are going through a hard time and kind of put themselves in that hard time, they need to pull themselves out of it. And if they're like, I'm stuck, I don't know who I am, I have no hopes and dreams and all that, well, okay, how's that my fault? You don't know who you are. You need to be telling me who you are. You need to figure it out. You need to learn to be a problem solver. You need to learn to turn negatives into positives. You need to stop thinking about, things that happened 10 years ago or 20 years ago that, your past is affecting your current present and making it where you have no future. Because you just can't get out of that mindset. It's like a constant rerun video that, they're just playing again, and won't let it go. And if they let go of one bad thing, they're focusing on another bad thing. They just focus on all the negative reruns of their lives and poor choices and how people treated them, and other people's thoughts, feelings, and opinions don't matter when it comes to your life. Let it go. So anyway, when it comes to priorities, when it comes to having very little money or obtaining very little money, do you pay your rent? Do you pay a water bill? Do you pay electric bill? Phone bill? Whatever. The number one bill that is the most important to pay, I would say, to prevent homelessness and ultimate suffering is your rent. Lot rent, apartment rent, house mortgage, whatever. If you are able to obtain enough money, or even half of it, or 3/4, or 80%, or 90%, paying your rent over any other bill is the most important. Why? Because that prevents you from being evicted and being kicked out on the street. And if you are on the street, hopefully you have a car, and hopefully it's yours and it's paid off and in good running condition. Hopefully it runs. Hopefully you have some kind of hard roof over your head. But having a shelter is the most important thing. I believe when it comes to most utilities, you can go like 2 or 3 months without paying before they take action and shut things off. And then so paying your rent is more important. Trying to, if you have other money and then you're like, oh, I want to stay more current with electric or water, those aren't the most important things. Most of the time, you would think, water is the most important. But in fact, it's actually, the way I look at it is, what is the utility that's going to possibly benefit you more in order to possibly earn more money? So anyway, yeah. So that's top priority, and I would definitely think about what's going to make you money. If your water needs to be shut off, but your electricity needs to stay on in order to, have electricity, power electronics like a computer specifically, to have online access, to be able to still be applying for a job, or to be doing, anything online. Most of the time you need electricity and you need online access in order to still be doing some kind of work in order to apply for a job or make some kind of money. So if it's like water or electric, but electric can possibly get you more money or get you a job quicker and all that, then keep and do what you need to do to keep the electricity going and on. And but maybe have your water shut off. But then, of course, did you have an emergency water supply? You know, I mean, I've been building like bug out bags and all that kind of stuff for about 10 years now. And so, the more and more I prepare my vehicle, my bug out bag, my home, and all that, I'm preparing, even though I'm doing really well financially and stuff right now. So I'm not close to being homeless at all. If no money, more money came in for me and no monthly income at all, I have enough money to be able to pay all my rent, utilities, food, gas, everything for about 8 months. And then I'd be in trouble after that. So the fact of the matter is that I'm wondering, you know, uh, people need to pretty much think about preparedness while you're doing good. That's when you should be thinking about preparedness and obtaining more stuff for your home and vehicles and all that to prepare for, to be ready for a point in time when you might be really hurting, might not be doing so well financially, can't pay rent and utilities, and eventually possibly utilities get shut off and then you possibly become homeless. Well, then if you prepared quite a bit with emergency food and gear and equipment and camping stuff and hygiene and first aid and good warm blankets and all that, and possibly hopefully have a paid off vehicle that you can use and stay out of and live out of, if not, high quality camping gear and all that. So by thinking ahead and getting a little bit at a time, you're preparing for the worst of the worst. So if I came into the future of no more money, everything in my life fell apart, then I have really good high quality survival bug out bag gear, survival gear for my vehicle and my home, and my vehicle's paid off. Camping gear, cooking gear, hygiene, summer, winter combo clothing, good high quality, thick, heavy, warm blankets, good coat, gloves, knit cap, gator neck, socks, everything, and boots, everything. I prepared myself slowly over time, over a decade, getting ready for the worst of the worst, for any kind of natural disaster that comes my way. So, I would highly recommend people take emergency preparedness a lot more seriously. Think about, if you hit hard financial times, priorities of what is the top priority of where your money goes if you get any money. And then the next biggest thing is if you're getting ready, I'd say at least about 2 weeks to a month out, looking at doing research and a variety of type of research to prepare for homelessness. Where are your nearest shelters? Where are your food pantries? Are there any tiny house villages nearby? Who would you contact to get on the list? Where are the nearest homeless encampments? Maybe go introduce yourself, talk to some, bring some food to people, listen to their stories. You can watch YouTube videos on YouTube as well on the positives and negatives, the do's, the don'ts, the top 10, top 20. What's your first day, first week, first month going to be like? What important gear or do you need during each season, specifically summer and winter? So what to get to have on hand now, maybe even some trading, bartering items as well. What do you need to do? Is it better to sleep during the night or during the day? Hopefully you make some homeless buddies, and maybe if there's two or more of you in a group, one or two of you are watching the other person's back who's down for a nap or whatever, or going to the restroom somewhere, and they left their tent gear and everything. Pulling like military CQ guard duty. You're watching each other's back. You watch their stuff and watch their back when they're resting or out in the bathroom or whatever, and then they'll do it for you. And hopefully you can start to build trust with some people. So doing your homework research on the top 10, top 20 things. What's a first day like? The do's and don'ts of being on the street. How are other homeless people going to treat you? How are police going to treat you if you interact with them? How are other civilians going to treat you? Business is going to treat you. Doing homework research ahead of time on what it's like being homeless in different city areas, the weather, what kind of gear do you want to have now before you become homeless, where can you find food, where can you get help, where are the warming centers when it gets really cold, doing all that kind of research. I think that is a very, very important thing, to be doing your homework and writing down thoughts and ideas, and thinking ahead of things to do this before you become actually homeless. And then, so it's like training. You're doing almost like a practice run. Kind of like if you have a bug out bag, which that right there is this one right here is a 24-hour survival bug out bag that I actually have up for sale on OfferUp and Facebook Marketplace. It was my older brother's. He can't use it anymore. I built it for him. It has 46 products in it, weighs 46 pounds, and has $1,530 worth. I'm asking $1,450 for it. So that is an example of a preparedness 24-hour basic, good, high quality of good gear, covering first aid, summer, winter combo clothing, cooking gear, tent stuff, sleeping bag, hand cranking flashlight, life straw, water bottle, rain ponchos, BioLite, really comfortable headlamp, a box of multi-meal Cliff bars in there, waterproof playing cards, knives, utensils, smoke bombs, lighters, Duraflame logs, a multi-tool Gerber, personal hygiene bag, all that stuff, entrenching tool, shovel, all that stuff is in there, and with much more. 46 different products, that's including the backpack and all the pouches. So, getting packs like this, or for homes, Rubbermaid tubs, laundry baskets with lids, preferably the Rubbermaid tubs with the clamp down lids, or a duffel bag, or a book bag of some kind, to having a variety of this type of emergency stuff. So, hey, emergency, and you're stuck at home, you get into your emergency supply of candles and batteries and flashlights and and emergency ration food and water and all that kind of stuff, and first aid and everything. So, but having something like this ready to go, that's recreational hiking and camping usage. That's how you field test what you have and how to use it, and how and then new products come out. Instead of the individual products, then you take 10 of those individual products and someone combine those 10 items in one. It's multi-tool, durable, high quality, worth the money. You've looked up a YouTube review and it's worth the money and it's durable and won't break. Then you buy that and exchange it out, a more multi-tool, durable item, and so it saves weight and space in your bug out bag or bugging kit for newer products that come out that you've done research and review on, and you replace and maybe sell all the old individual items and get some of your money back. So, but having something like that in your vehicle, at your work, at home, ready to go, natural disaster happens, it's a mandatory evacuation, got to get out of Dodge, or you're trapped at home and everything as well. Having all this emergency water and food and gear and camping gear and the machete and tomahawk and entrenching tool and camping toilet thing and all this different kind of stuff. Solar shower, for hygiene, non-scented like shampoo or body wash or something, or soap. Keep your hygiene up is good. Sleep is important. Keeping warm. Food, water. Don't get sick and all that. Good having a little first aid on hand. All of that. Lighting systems, candles, glow sticks, flashlights, batteries for flashlights, hand cranking flashlights. All that is really important. How do you warm up your food, cook your food, emergency ration backup stuff that can last on the shelf a long time. All of that is really, really important. So I think, get your home prepared while you're doing good financially. Get your vehicle prepared while you're doing well financially. Build a high-quality bug-out bag for everybody, at least a 24-hour bag up to a 72-hour bag. Maybe even for a bigger dog, a vest, a Molly vest that could put pouches on, extra first aid, food, water for the dog, maybe for yourself and all that. So pouches that a dog can carry no problem of their own food and water. Get your home more prepared. If you're really hurting for money, prioritize where your money goes. Rent is the most important, to have a roof over your head where you don't get evicted. That is number one priority over anything else. Go, find gig jobs. Go find little odd jobs around your neighborhood, community that you could do for people. Get creative, sell off things. I'm going to show you a little picture real quick of if you had never seen the Denzel Washington movie, John Q. His son has a heart problem, needs a new heart, and so he's going through a hard time. Insurance doesn't cover it, so the father, Denzel Washington's character, is just selling everything he possibly can, other than the absolute basics he needs, like a mattress, a blanket, a pillow on the ground. He's selling off everything else he owns. So let me show you a quick picture, real quick. So, if this is, you're hitting such a hard time, and this is pretty much what you have left, don't be ashamed. Everybody hits hard times, makes mistakes, and or the economy just goes to crap, and you pretty much have to do what you have to do to survive, start over, and prevent homelessness and starvation. And like I said, shelter is the most important. And so if you gotta, be go back to like 100, 150 years ago, we didn't have electricity, we didn't have electronics. So you got to go back to just shelter, toilet, shower, maybe with or without a shower curtain. You basic hygiene stuff, basic food, eat nothing but super top ramen or soup cans or whatever. It's a basic ham cheese sandwich or just a ham sandwich or whatever, lettuce sandwich. You just have, preferably a mattress or maybe even just a carpeted floor, and you're covering up with a jacket and maybe no blanket at all. If you have to hit that hard of a time, but you're still alive and surviving. You might not really be living, but you're surviving. You got to get past that really hard hump, and it can take a while. Look at the Great Depression, so you got to do what you got to do. To me, it's like I have a high quality 72-hour survival bug out bag I've been building for 10 years. I got a paid off car, and I always keep up with the maintenance services. You take good care of things, they will take good care of you. Let me show you one other picture. This is absolutely true. If you take care of things, they last. So anything that especially is expensive, electronics, computers, vehicles, furniture, your home, if you don't take the time to put in the time, energy, and money to have nice things and maintain them, you should not have them. If you can't afford things, you should not have them. You should live within your means, and if you can't afford certain things, you should not have them. So that's why I also hate fees. If you can't afford it, you don't deserve to have it, no matter how much you want. You haven't given sweat, blood, and tears to go get the money to earn it and buy it or build it and maintain it. So, from my perspective, we need to be more realistic of our wants and our versus our needs and necessities. A lot of things are like, I need that. No, you don't. That's a want. That's not a necessity. And people need to learn more patience and discipline and focus and, just be more responsible and more mature and be realistic. So if I pretty much was about to become homeless, hit a really hard financial time, no matter what happened in my life, good running vehicle, it's fully paid off. I got the title to it. I've got a high quality survival bug out bag. I'm getting more and more emergency gear and food and stuff. Throw as much of it in my vehicle as possible. And the only other things that are really, really important to me would be probably some clothes, some good summer, winter combo clothes and footwear and stuff. My current laptop, large external hard drive with all my TV shows, movies, past the pictures from all my travels and everything. And that would probably be a top priority. Other than, of course, my mother and any handicap stuff that she needs in clothes and stuff as well. Everything else, all my other stuff that you see, all my decor, furniture, everything, it could be all stolen. It could burn down to the ground. It would suck, but it's not the end of the world. Plus, I have renter's insurance to cover all this, and I have an inventory list and pictures of everything I had, and on backup files and encrypted thumb drive in my bug out bag and all that. And my bank is tracking everything, inventory roster, serial numbers, pictures of everything. So I have $50,000 worth of stuff, and I have $60,000 worth of renter's insurance and personal property insurance. So no, $100,000 worth of renters and $60,000 worth of personal property. So my home is covered and my property is covered. So stuff can be replaced. It's more of like they always say, if you're about to abandon your home, one of the most important things that most women and mothers and wives, they go for the photo album. That would be my laptop and hard drive, because it has all my pictures and videos and all that I've been collecting for 15 years. So those are more important. So those plus clothes, and then my vehicle, my bug out bag, camping and survival gear and all that. Those are top priority. Everything else is, and everything else can be replaced, even though some of it would be very hard because some of it's from foreign country when I was in the military, but everything else can be replaced. Those are the most important things. You need to be, prioritize and things to do list and what's top priority and all that. That's all I have. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it helps you really think about what is top priority. And think more about home preparedness for winter storms and summer storms or bad weather, natural disasters. But also think about, getting your home more prepared, getting your vehicle more prepared, prepare yourself and your family, and think about, if you hit hard times, do everything you can to prevent homelessness. But if you really believe you're about to become homeless, what kind of think ahead research should one be doing on a variety of different areas, and scouting things out, and get to know your local homeless people, and barter with them, and create a good rapport, bring them food or whatever, talk to them, hear their stories, learn lessons from them, have gear ready to go, know where your shelters and food pantries and or social security office and phone numbers and all that kind of stuff. So really think about that kind of stuff before it actually happens. The more you prepare, the less worried, concerned, fearful, depressed, you'll recover faster. You might, if you either can prevent homelessness by doing it, or you do become homeless, but you get out of homelessness faster, because knowledge is power. So the more you know your environment, you know who to talk to, you know who to call, you have a power station and a tent and good gear and everything. You're up off the ground and a cot and a 0 to 20 degree sleeping bag and something to cook on, a propane cooking, camping stove system of some kind, good summer, winter combo clothing. You got massively prepared of what is most important, got it all together and put it together in like a bug out bag or something, and maybe go get a grocery cart to carry a little bit more for your tent and stuff and everything, and you will be better off. I don't ever want to become homeless, but at the same time, I would kind of look at it as military survival training, or being on dual survival, or the island with Bear Grylls or whatever. It would be an interesting experiment and a new just experience to go out there and survive on the streets or in the wilderness or whatever. And I would find that kind of fascinating and interesting. And with my vehicle and all my survival gear, maybe I wouldn't like it forever and I wouldn't want to get out of it, but I probably could, be okay with doing it for at least, 3-4 months, maybe up to 6, and then I'd be like, okay, I'm over it. I want to be back in an apartment or something, or tiny house or something, So, but I would do whatever I can to change things up, to like, how do I get a tiny house village? Where are they? And all that kind of stuff. How can they get me from a tiny house village shack to out of homelessness and back to work and stuff, or how can they speed up me getting disability if I'm disabled or whatever. So that's about all I have. I hope you somewhat enjoyed this collage of like thinking ahead and preparedness and all that kind of stuff, ideas and advice. And you guys stay safe, stay warm, and have a good new year and a good winter, and be careful and watch out for yourselves and each other. Okay. All right. Take care. Bye.